Color source consoles provide you with a number of effect types that you can use with intensities, color mixes, or other parameters of moving lights. I've prepared a playback memory containing 2 of my moving lights that have all of these functions. And I've just moved them off of their home position and pointed them down stage a bit so we can see this a little bit easier. Effects are applied to selected channels, so I'm going to select those 2 channels now. And now we can go into the Controls menu Effects page. And in here you can see that we have a tab for color mix effects, shape effects for pan and tilt, intensity effects that can be used on all products that have intensity controls, dimmers, LEDs, moving lights, and a parameter effect which has a setting here for you to choose which parameter of a moving light you wish to apply this particular waveform to. I'm going to start with color, since most fixtures, at least LEDs and moving lights, will have a color mixing system. If I wish to apply an effect to these 2 selected channels, I just pick from the tiles. I'll pick rainbow. And you can see that the lights start to change their colors. The parameters here underneath are control parameters for the effect itself. So if I wish to make this rainbow move faster, I simply increase the speed parameter of the effect until I am happy. We can probably make that a little more subtle. Next to that is a fan parameter, which will offset the color change between, in this case, the 2 lights that I've got selected. So now I'll have 2 colors on stage all the time, and so on and so forth. So you can play with these parameters until the effect looks like the effect you were trying to create. Let's say, however, that I want to continue applying effects to these 2 lights. I want to add a pan tilt effect, for example. I'll press the Add Effect key, and the default is to apply an intensity effect. Don't worry that the lights have gone out. We'll just throw a different type of effect on there, and it will take over from that intensity effect that is the default. And you can see now my 2 lights are spending a lot of time up in the flies. So I'm going to change the depth of my effect, which in this case equals the size of movement, or how far off stage these 2 lights are going to spin themselves. Again, I can make them faster or slower if I wish. Oh, let's not make anyone ill. I can fan the 2 lights, offsetting them from each other as we go. I can rotate the shape. In the case of this effect, flower, it's a round shape, so rotating it's not going to make too much of a difference, but you can see some of the other shapes have a more horizontal or more vertical axis to them, so you can rotate them, and the aspect actually allows me to take a circular effect and make it more oval shaped. So that's what those 2 parameters do on shape effects. And we can carry on from here doing other things. So we can go into intensity. Once again, I want to add another effect. I could add cosine, I can add flicker, and you can see the lights start blinking a little bit. I can go into parameter effects, hit add effect, pick one, and now pick, in this case, iris. So now we've applied 4 different effects: a color mix effect, a pan tilt effect, an intensity effect, and an iris effect. As you can see, next to add effect, there's an option to remove an effect. So if we don't like the intensity thing anymore, we can select it on the screen and hit remove effect, and that single effect will be removed from these lights. Once you're happy with your stage state, you can record this somewhere in the same way that you always record. Record that to playback number 13. And I will remove all these effects so that our lights calm down again. Come out of this editor, and if I bring up number 13, you see I get back that mix of a color effect, a pan tilt effect, and this crazy iris effect. And you'll notice that because effects are playing on the right-hand side of the screen, those 3 effect icons return to our display. From here, I can choose one of those effects and choose to stop it, or to enter that editing screen again if I need to, say, adjust the time or the offset or the size while the effect is playing. Those changes won't necessarily be stored back to our playback number 13 until you record it again, but it is a way to grab control of an effect and make adjustments to it live. It's also a way to get it off the stage quickly in the case you don't need it anymore. Remember, that's a manual change. If I bring down number 13 and bring it back up, I get everything that was originally stored in that playback memory or in that queue.